because mid one had a couple of brutal games earlier today, including a game on Ember Spirit where I believe he died 9 times in the first 25 minutes. They finally were able to take game 3 of that previous series by putting him on a Nyx Assassin, kind of hiding him a little bit.
They lost that.
They lost that. Of course, they lost
the bo3 though.
Yeah. Yes, they lost.
He looked more comfortable, then he got picked off. I think the big thing to me with Fnatic is that was a 2-1 loss against Team Liquid, so yeah, they could have mid one playing one of the worst tournaments I've seen him play, yet they still really challenged Liquid they won game 2, game 1 and game 3 were both very competitive. So I think the fact that you had this one young new player have a bad series and you still were close against Liquid means that coming into this series, like, Fnatic looks strong.
Okay, we are into the draft right now, so we'll bring that up for you momentarily. We've just had the ban so far and awaiting first pick. It's Fnatic with first pick, Alliance on the Radiant side. We haven't had a huge opportunity to talk about Fnatic too much. Another storied organisation. You know, we think of Alliance as such a fabled Dota team, but Fnatic are an esports organisation that have been around for a very long time, and they're used to winning. They're used to being champions. They haven't tasted that success quite just yet. Is it within the realms of possibility that they can at least make the upper bracket here?
I mean, absolutely. I don't think you can look at their performance at Shanghai and not believe that this team can make some noise in this tournament. 2 weeks before Shanghai, I'm not going to mince words. I didn't think that what they were doing before Shanghai made any sense. I didn't think their drafts made sense. Half their bans were just wasted. And all of a sudden, they came into Shanghai. They had clearly done their homework. They had Kenshi back at manager. They had Extinct at analyst. And there were so many changes that team made, from their drafts to their vision game, their team fight execution. When they're playing at the top of their game, this is a team you don't want to face.
Okay, draft underway. We've got a Bounty Hunter first pick, which we haven't seen an awful lot because they're usually banned in the first phase, and a Disruptor Centaur identical draft for Alliance that they used in their previous series.
I'm a really big fan of Alliance when they give Loader a really active hero like Centaur, Slaughter.
5 seconds remaining.
Does he play more active heroes than that?
He does, but
in particular those two, he makes a lot of stuff happen that he usually does not make happen when he plays like those hard carries.
But look, here's my issue, right? If you look back at the issues that they had when they ran this draft in a previous game, they started very slow. And there were a lot of mid-game engagements where they didn't execute very well. All of a sudden, you have a bounty hunter on the other side. You're giving up those same mid-game kills. You're falling way behind.
That's what I'm worried about the most too. If you give Fnatic bounty hunter, they usually exploit it very, very hard, and they will make 2 of your lanes lose. Like, they will punish you.
And the life stealer hurt them enough in that game, even though they won it, that they turned around and banned it first phase in game 2, and they're going to be facing a life stealer here again. This is a very strong open by Fnatic.
Lifesteal still had a lot of kind of liabilities in that game, because I mean, Stampede is one of the best spells to have against this hero. He goes in, he pops Rage, you Stampede, everyone can get away from him. So Fnatic need to do well in the early to mid game. They're not going to scale well with this hero.
It works both ways too, though, because Lifesteal is practically immune to Centaur too, because the Stomp animation is really long. You will almost always get the Rage off before it actually comes through, and then you can turn around to fight.
Yeah, and it's a big thing too. It's a very tanky hero that doesn't generally build armor items, at least early. So you're giving a lot in terms of if the Lifestealer is hitting you with Feast active.
And the one good thing you see, the Lifestealer, this hero's biggest weakness is often physical damage. And you're running load on Centaur, you're not going to be adding much physical damage into your draft. Possibly the Broodmother comes out again, but Fnatic, if they want, they still got a ban left. And even so, the Brood takes a lot of items before you become scary as a physical damage dealer.
Right. I really love the Shadow Demon ban. It's really good against both Lifestealer and really good with Centaur, and we've seen it in the past that Alliance ran it, like just last series as well.
Again, though, the first order question to me is still, it's the same template. We saw it was Riki instead of Bounty Hunter that they were facing, but they had an Invis hero that basically ruined 2 out of the 3 lanes. They fell behind, and all of a sudden, with the Bounty Hunter in place of the Riki, he's now giving gold to your whole team.
If they really run the Centaur safe lane though, they have, in theory, they have 2 really strong lanes that are immune to the bounty ganks. Like, if they protect middle properly, Bounty Hunter can't do anything to Centaur Disruptor, there's no way. He will just die instantly. And if they protect middle properly, I think Bounty will have a really hard time doing anything other than like disrupting the safe lane a lot more.
Okay. Again, a little bit. I think this might be a good thing. A little bit more of a tankier hero mid with the Spirit Siphon, a bit harder to gank perhaps by the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, this was following the Brood ban, so
Yeah.
no Brood for a third time in a row for Alliance. They're not going to fall for that trap. But in a weird way, they've kind of given them the DP, which would probably be what they would have preferred anyway. They've had that ban against them in the previous 2 second phases. So.
They probably would have picked Lashrak if they didn't have the chance to pick DP, but DP is definitely their preferred choice.
Yeah.
No discussion about that.
And almost the same concept, right? The damage mitigation benefits the Death Prophet with Exorcism up, just like it benefits the Leshrac.
Yeah, and you're always going to know that Bulldog has that hero depth, but I think it's just the confidence factor. If they could get him on Brood for a 3rd game in a row, he's already going to be in the zone. Like, he's just had 2 games to practice, warm up on the hero, so it's like, okay, let's put him on something else, put him on something different.
So you kind of get the feeling, right, that the offlane hero choice here by Alliance is going to define. Now, let's not sleep on the fact they can rotate Admiral Bulldog onto the Centaur, but I would assume that it's going to be Loda, and the offlane hero choice for Alliance, as it usually does in this meta, is going to define the draft.
Yeah, I think much more likely we see the Nature's Prophet come out, or possibly the Lone Druid,
or a Treant.
Yeah, as the offlane.
Is that 85? 85 different heroes already picked, right? I don't think we've seen a Treant
I don't
before.
think we've seen a Treant. I'm going to get Nox to confirm, but I think that might well be the 85th different hero we've had in less than 2 days of group stage.
85 heroes in 2 days.
Yeah,
are you kidding me?
And the record is 89 at the Valve event, which was TI5. So we're only 4 short
for an entire tournament.
And we haven't seen an Ursa. We haven't seen a Legion Commander, which I'm pretty sure we're going to see both of those at some point because they're pocket picks.
We haven't seen a CK.
We haven't seen a CK, which is also a pocket pick for a couple of these teams. So I think we might just beat that.
But in this game in particular, though, the Treant Protector is really good against the Lifestealer and Bounty gangs as well. Like, they just don't have enough damage to kill anyone right now. They really need some DPS mid hero that offers them the damage they need. The Centaur is really tanky, DP is really tanky, even Treant, he has like 800 base HP level 1. They simply don't have enough damage right now to kill anyone.
And even out of the offlaner, I feel like they're going to need some damage output. It can't just be some teamfight specialist entirely, or I feel like they're going to have some big just weaknesses in their lineup. We've seen a lot of these single core Lifestealer drafts just really struggle in the mid to late game. Like, maybe you get a few good ganks off, but you never scale well enough into the late game where you can actually win the game.
It's still, the Doom's on the table though, right? And with the Doom still on the table, it may not... Wow, they're going to go back to the Mushi Shadow Fiend. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I mean, they did this, it was Summit Grand Finals qualifiers where they ran this 2 of the 3 games. He's so comfortable on this hero. It's one of those things where Mushi is probably just like in a pressure situation. Pick him one of his most comfortable heroes. Shadow Fiend for Mushi is just his bread and butter.
It is going to be really tough on him though. Let's say this Treant is roaming with boots, he gets the Leech Seed on him, and then the Spirit Siphon, he's going to die. Like, one Treant punch takes off like 1/6 of his health.
No, I agree in that. This is part of what forced, obviously the stack nerfs were the single biggest factor, but this is part of what forced SF out of the meta to begin with, is that you have, he's very vulnerable to early ganks, and usually when you have a bounty on your team, you're going to have that early roaming advantage. It's the enemy mid laner that has to fear. I'm not so sure that Alliance isn't going to be able to flex their muscles early in this one.
Well, you look at the bounty. Where is he actually going to go?
Right. As we said before, safe lane, you can't go to safe lane. You have a Centaur there. Probably.
Yeah, well, he goes to his safe lane maybe and bullies Bulldog.
That's the only thing he can do, really. Like, well, what did you do? You, like, I don't know, protect middle? You can't protect middle.
And I think Bulldog is one of the best offlaners at dealing with those kind of trial lanes in general anyways. Like, if he's on a Lone Druid, I feel like Bulldog on an offlane Lone Druid dies less than any other player out there. Well, he's not getting Lone Druid though, so...
It would have been suicide to give him Lone Druid in this game.
So Nature's Prophet, right?
It must be Nature's Prophet.
Which is their most picked hero.
Although Fnatic might also get it.
Yeah,
it is the most played hero player-hero combination in the history of Dota.
Well, that is a block pick.
Ah, there it is. Yes, it is.
It's a block pick, but I think it's also great for Fnatic. It gives them more damage. It's fast tempo. Because you look at Alliance and where they fell short in the last series, it was the early to mid game where they were kind of slow paced. They were just trying to build up towards their key items. Prophet teeping around early, gets aggressive. Same for the Lifestealer. They create space very well for the Shadow Fiend.
But doesn't the same logic apply here, though? The Alliance has a lot of defensive options. We were talking about this from the standpoint of the early roam, but doesn't it also apply with the Prophet TPing in? They have a lot of ways that they can look to defend their lanes.
Yes, but it's all about, they needed like more aggression to overcome the defensive power. So you have Bounty go for a gank, and it's no longer just a Bounty, it's Nature's... Suddenly you've got 4 heroes caving in either on the mid lane or your top lane, and you can take the tower, maybe kill the off laner, whatever Bulldog's playing, and take objectives with this. So it's very, very aggressive from Fnatic.
So what do we go for Alliance here? A Gyro?
They're looking for
I still think this will be offlane, but
still there? Okay.
But it's really hard to pick an off there now. It's,
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
that's
is.
why
It's
I'm
really
thinking maybe
awkward.
maybe
They
they
don't
have to
have a
change
choice
this
right
right
He
now.
plays a lot of
Yeah.
he's played a lot of Weaver. That's been a
He
go-to
did.
sometimes
Yeah.
when there's nothing left.
And Weaver's really good against Lifestealer, but against Bounty, it's like
But there's no
lockdown.
stuns, there's no lockdown.
Yeah.
It's actually a pretty good Weaver game.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
Perfect. Nice call. Well done, boys. Very, very good. Very quickly, we'll go down the line. Alan, which draft do you prefer?
I was ready to take Fnatic coming into the series. I just like this Alliance draft. I think they have a very solid concept here, made some minor adjustments.
Okay. Black?
for this game, or probably the whole series, I think I prefer Alliance a little bit. They're like just a little bit more
Just a
versatile
little
for
bit
me.
more. Okay.
Yeah, a little bit.
Gods?
I'm same as Alan. I think I had favored Fnatic ever so slightly. I'm always a bit SEA biased, but
Yeah.
draft-wise, I like Alliance here. I think they're taking game one.
All right, okay. Thank you very much to all three. We'll head over to our commentary team now, where Mort and Melini are waiting to bring you game one of the final game in Group C.
Thanks, guys, and welcome in here to the final series of the day on the mainstream. It is Fnatic versus Alliance, game number one. There's a lot at stake, of course, the upper bracket and the lower bracket for the main event. Who will move up, who will move down? We're going to decide that here in a moment in this best of three series. My name is Mott. With me, of course, is Merlini. We're going to jump right into it.
Prepare for battle.
So, Ben, I think the last couple of picks were really interesting. I think we saw that the Treant was, I think, a bit unexpected. How do you feel about that pick coming out for Alliance?
With Lifestealer being so popular, I think that Treant should probably rise in popularity. Great against the Rage and just great at dealing with that single target damage that Lifestealer has. So I expect Treant to be picked a little bit more. The Weaver it's good in terms of it's nice for Bulldog, but it gets kited very easily by Sprout, and there's track constantly coming out on him, and just a lot of damage flying around in general.
But there is a lack of disables coming out for Fnatic, though, at the very least. I mean, they do have Sprout, yes, they have Cask as well, but it's not the worst thing for Bulldog, I think, in this game right now. He'll be okay for the time being in the top laning. 3-4-3 is going to be very aggressive. He'll drop down the ward just to get some vision. So to start things off, it looks like Bulldog will be up here, and he'll be alone for the time being. They have three heroes going to that top lane, that top rune spot to contest. The Shadow Fiend, this just feels like such a different draft than what we saw from Fnatic earlier. They didn't pick up the Prophet. They didn't pick really any of these heroes. In fact, all of these heroes, with the exception of 3-4-3 and the Bounty Hunter, they have not. Liquid, so I'm excited to see how they play it.
Yeah, I think they really wanted a BKB mid versus like Disruptor, DP, and Centaur. Centaur is an interesting pick by Alliance, and again, it will be versus the Lifestealer. If he can get that Ags up and running, he's going to be a monstrosity.
Stampede's so good. Going up
With
the down
Ags.
cliffs. Yes. Wing Dagger, not bad for that hero. I mean, the Rage is really a big issue, though, for the Centaur, but Bulldog. Really could use a stomp from Loda, but he's not there in time, and so they won't be able to get the job done to get that kill. And Ake, of course, just using that glimpse, so it's not off cooldown yet.
Nice movement by 343, immediately moving to the left after the glimpse. He almost got double-edged by Loda, and that does a lot of damage at level 1.
Yeah, that'll kill the Bounty Hunter, no problem whatsoever. But he was not in range. He was too busy farming creeps. 343 denies himself, no shocker there. And back to the mid lane. 2 last hits coming out for Mushi. It is 5 for the DP. The DP obviously having an inherent advantage early on in this lane. People have talked about Raze, and I think I was talking to Waga. I'm not sure. He said something about just not even scaling up Raze at all in certain instances. I feel like that's a little bit of, what's the word I'm looking for? We'll hold that thought. Bulldog's going to cast up top. But yeah, he's stated that Raze is just, it's not in a good place right now. And Shadow Fiend in general, what do you think about the hero?
Well, the mana nerfs to Shadow Rays, as well as all the magic resistance coming out to Sex, certainly hurt him, as well as Earth Spirit being very popular and just dual laning mid in general. But I think not skilling Rays would just be a mistake in most situations, just because it helps you farm so much quicker. And you need a transition from a heavy magic nuker early into a heavy right clicker, and it's just way too slow and way too one-dimensional if you just go for the right click build. Some situations maybe.
Yeah, you just farm so much less quickly and efficiently without the raise. Even though they did change the mana, it didn't make it much worse, I feel like. But
they also don't have that much AoE damage.
Yeah.
With Requiem and Raise, it should compensate for their lack of team fight.
Shadowblade might be a pickup for Mushi later on down the road. I don't even know what the item build is for it. Like, I've seen literally no Shadow Fiend in like the past 2 months, so I have no idea what you build on this hero anymore. Maybe just the same stuff.
I saw one pick yesterday. It was very, very defensive build though. Like SNY, Treads, just BKB, all HP items.
It seems fine.
Bulldog struggling a lot to get levels on the top lane. That's one of the disadvantages of a Weaver.
Still level 1. He chewed through. I was saying he had 7 tangos, he had a salve. He chewed through all of that regen. It's gone. So DJ has done a great job throwing out cask after cask, getting right clicks off. I hope mid one has hit him a couple of times, but Bulldog is not having a great time up here. He finally reaches level 2, and he's not a hero that can just go Iron Talon and jungle, at least not effectively.
That's not how Alliance plays. They almost always have him on the off lane, so the supports are relatively busy. But DJ doing a really good job. He didn't even have to plant his second sentry.
Yeah, and so they don't get the kill, but the thing is they're denying so much experience and last hits for him so that it's super effective. And you look at Fnatic, 14 last hits on the Nature's Prophet. He's doing really well. He's sitting now in a solo lane. 343 has rotated mid. S4 will take a hit, but Mushi is so low at this point. They really can't have him walk up. He has no raise mana. Spirit Siphon goes through invisibility as well, and S4 is just running him down. Another Crypt Swarm, if he knows where he is, might even get the kill. Another Spirit Siphon, but they don't have the detection, and so Alliance will back up. And 343 will try to contest the top rune spot. They drop the sentry there as well. They have Glimpse ready to go. Double damage has been picked up by S4, and they get the kill with the last right click coming out. That is just Ake being in a smart position, knowing that 343 was going to go for that rune, and they drop the sentry, get the kill easily.
And now this lane just becomes even tougher for Mushi. He does not have a support dedicated to stacking for the Shadow Fiend. However, we have still not seen too much from Ohio. He can come to that mid lane if necessary. However, that Prophet still does have that one charge of Spirit Siphon, and they had to deal with Living Armor. Not going to be an easy kill at all.
Yeah, that's true. The Living Armor, it's probably a pretty under level 1 or 2 at this point. 1 or 2 skill points into the Living Armor, but it's still enough. At level 2, Living Armor is pretty damn solid. And EGM is doing a pretty good job zoning out Ohio as much as he possibly can, but...
Nice. Ake did scout out Mushi placing that Observer Ward, and it is just barely out of range of that sentry.
He'll get another one, though. He is poor now. He only has a salve and a Smoke of Deceit. No money for boots, no money for sentries or anything, so he'll have to wait a bit of time. Yeah, I mean, the start of this game right now is shaping up that Fnatic are doing okay in terms of levels in CS. They're shutting down Bulldog in the top lane, but likewise, S4 is doing very well mid. He got that first blood, he got the kill, so Mushi... maybe a little behind, but not by much in terms of CS. Yeah, he's pretty even.
Ohio's doing really well in the offlane.
Yeah.
Almost 20 CS on him versus the 1 of Bulldog.
S4 has the raindrops that actually might keep him alive. The Spirit Siphon, the Crypt Swarm, more than enough damage. 343 really wants this kill, but he sticks up. S4 will stay alive, or at least bottles up. And that will be enough. 343 wanted the kill. No Shuriken. That would have secured it for them, more likely than not, but... he's going to get clipped by that Crypt Swarm, too.
So many raindrops coming out for the mid laners. Blocking raises, Shuriken.
So good. Especially if you're like a DK, you're pretty much impossible to kill at that point.
Yep. And value sentry placed by Aki, taking down that Observer and Sentry Ward. And SF having to fend for himself in the mid lane. Not feeling very comfortable at all.
20 CS. He's missed out on a kill or 2. He's died. So it's not a great start for Mushi, but... the good thing is that, and this is like a constant in all Lifestealer games, it's just so hard to deal with him and gank him. And he's going to get free farm in almost every single matchup that you see. And mid 1 is doing a great job with 40 last hits. He's got DJ to help him out. Ohio's going to TP out. Oh, doesn't make it away though. EGM's last right click comes through with the Leech Seed as well. Loda was there. So he gets caught. So Ohio, he was having a good lane, and then he just dies, seemingly out of nowhere.
I think he should have helped with that mid kill onto S4. He TP'd bottom right as that gank happened, and not really panning out for him. They need more fight in the early game. Like, Treant Protector Disruptor is a very weak support duo, and Solo Weaver offlane is not terribly strong. DJ, most of his efforts are concentrated up there, but still, they need more help for Mushi. More things need to happen around the map for them. They need Bounty Hunter to get more levels.
There's a lot they need at this point. They're not getting much. They have a couple of stacks, I think, in the jungle that 343 is going to give to Mushi at some point, which will help him get experience too if he leeches it.
But they can gank it. They can smoke gank with Stampede, and it could be like a Shadow Fiend death into the stolen stacks, which would just be...
That's awful.
It's pretty likely too, because Ake set up that ward after they got the first.
Oh yeah, there's that deep ward in the jungle that I didn't even notice earlier. So that's huge for Alliance. They will see that stack being taken. One over there, but I mean, at this point, the only good thing
Ake
going...
and Loda setting up for a smoke already. I think they're anticipating a lot of heroes in the mid lane.
They have the Stampede ready for Loda. 343 might scout them out, but there's a sentry right near there. He's going to break the invis, walk up to the high ground. Ake has vision with that observer ward, but no sentry up in the high ground. So they won't be able to catch him out of position. But Loda's still smoked up. Ake isn't. They could try to take the stack if they want to, just right now with the double edge Stampede, maybe, if they need to chase after a kill.
Probably need one more hero at least to take that out.
Yeah. They're rotating a couple more over there. Bulldog is coming with Shikuchi, which will help a little bit. And they're just going to leave bottom alone. So yeah, Loda just goes in, stomps up. There's the Crypt Storm, and they'll take it with S4 and Loda. And they're going to get a ton of experience and a ton of gold. They don't lose the kill. EGM bottom will stay alive, but the raise hit from Mushi, the long range, the E, will do the job. So he rotates down, he finds a kill, he loses his stack in the process. And it's an interesting trade. Maybe not the best, but...
Yeah, you don't really want to be stacking with the bounty hunter. You want to be able to get a lot of kills around the map, but Fnatic just lacking all sources of damage, and their cores still content on farming their early game, which is fine. They have Lifestealer in.
When is mid one gonna show up? Level 6? I mean, he should have his infest ready to go.
Most of the time, it's after the T1 is down when your armlet's up. So maybe just a couple more minutes for him. Ohio.
He gets the tower, but he might die for it. He actually was gonna TP out. Loda can't get there with a hoof stomp in time. And so Alliance miss out on that kill, and he gets the tower. That's a huge player for Ohio that gets him the gold for not only himself, but for his team as well. That's big. They could use any gold at this point. And he just TP's back up top. Sprout into Bulldog. Dust is up. He doesn't have time left. He's got a Shikuchi. Will not save him. The living armor will, however, for the time being. But the open wounds comes out. The Stampede, but the last right click from Ohio, which was a mile away, gets the job done.
Perfect execution by Ohio there. And that's going to be 2 towers down for Fnatic.
They transition this very quickly. Ohio's like, all right, let's start getting involved. Let me push bottom, TP top, get a kill, get a tower. That was a very poor couple of minutes for Alliance there. They got the 1 stack, and that was about the best thing that happened to them in the past 2 minutes.
I think Fnatic did a really good job of reacting towards the stack. They didn't panic at all. They didn't like TP a couple heroes there. They pinged it out, and then they just decided, okay, we'll just get a tower in the meantime. It wasn't that large of a stack. It was a triple stack. And fortunately for Alliance, there weren't that many magic resistance creeps.
Well, there's the Hood of Defiance now for the Centaur, so magic damage will be mitigated coming out for the Loda, build into that pipe at some point in time. And this is the condition you were talking about. Mid one now has his armlet. They've taken the tier 1 tower top and bottom as well. So if they want to get involved, they certainly can. 343, does he have level 6 yet is the question.
Nope, he is level 4.5. However, it is 10 minutes and Tome of XP in the stash.
All right, give that to... God, give that to 343, please.
Yeah, DJ is almost level 6, so he definitely
And he's leeching experience top, so they don't need to give it to him. It's completely fine.
He doesn't have a good way to get into the fight. Maybe like an NP bomb.
Oh, that sentry placed down. The Janata will go, but there's the overgrowth. Mid one is just going to rage through it, and he'll chew through EGM. That big tree is going to get brought down, cut by Ohio, and they'll look to push and pressure more in this bottom lane. There's no tier 1 tower here, but they get a kill, and they can push this into the tier 2 or something.
And Mushi has a haste rune. No Requiem quite up yet, and it looks like he will just commit to a bunch of small items that tread Tequila, even though he did have, I think, around 1,700 gold to his name.
So with this poor start for Alliance, at least for Bulldog, I should say, where do you go from here? Because you have the Hood of Defiance up, you have Stampede for Loda, you have Death Prophet Ultimate, presumably you have at least Phase on her, maybe the beginnings of a Yule Scepter. So do you decide to push? Do you decide to play reactively against what Fnatic is doing, or do you maybe look for a smoke gank? What's the play here for Alliance in this situation?
They're in a weird spot where they want to fight because they have better team fight, but if they fight a lot, they're also going to have to deal with a track. So they just have to take really smart fights, I would say, with 4 or 5 people. Most of the time. They really need to take down some T1 towers. Fnatic just have way too much map control. It's way too much ground for the supports to cover with sentries if they keep on losing their towers. So I would say, above all else, defend the mid T1, and then after that, play it by ear.
Pushing for them is not easy. They have Exorcism, and that is it, right? At this point, you don't do that much damage for Weaver just yet. You're not going to be right-clicking a tower. Usually, I mean, Loda will be up front. He'll right-click a tower when he can, but they don't have very good push other than the Exorcism at this stage in the game. So taking down a tier 1 tower for them is difficult.
Fnatic does not have that great anti-push, and Bounty Hunter is level 6 with the help of the Tome, and already packing some heat.
The Infest Bomb on the Bounty Hunter. He runs in, Janata comes out, the Infest, the Shuriken. Should be enough burst damage to take down a Squishy support, or Bulldog for that matter. They're going to smoke up with the Invis on top for the Bounty Hunter. DJ will join them. He's level 6, so Death Ward is available for them to drop down in a team fight.
They have to be able to defend this T1. I don't know if they sense it coming. They are huddled in between the T1 and the T2 with a sentry behind, so this could be a little bit dangerous for them. It's kind of that awkward moment where they realize a lot of heroes are missing.
And they smoke too. They counter smoke, and they're going to wrap on mid. They're looking for Mushi, and they might even find him here as well. They're going for the direct route, and Mushi is actually very far up here. Instead, they go into the jungle, and S4 is going to get caught now. The safety will come through. They get the cast off, and the Death Ward blows him up, down for 36. No more S4, and they catch out Bulldog with the Sprout as well, but he just time-lapses out of it to make sure he gets away in time. That's a huge play for them.
Yep, and the Weaver is forced to go a Quelling Blade to deal with the Sprout. Sprout is actually a very, very big problem for the Weaver because he has very short range. I guess theoretically maybe you can counter it with a Dragon Lance, but it's just, you can't move around. That's one of Weaver's greatest strengths, just being highly mobile. And that T1 tower, Alliance thought they could defend it because of the haste, but Fnatic, I would say they committed just the right amount. A couple of ultimates, the nice Death Ward, especially by DJ, to ensure that they get that kill. They have to be able to burst through the living armor as well as make sure they kill him before he runs away with Stampede.
Yeah,
so it was a good.
They don't have much lockdown. This is what I was talking about. They don't have much lockdown. You either get the Sprout off or you get the cast, but if you have to kill him in that period of time, and they did. And they're going a very aggressive play here with Roche. Mid one is going to be tanking it up and doing most of the damage here. Tracks are coming out, so they have vision on the high ground from Bulldog. There's the Exorcism. S4 will pop it. He's going to find an Invis room for good measure as well. DJ and Ohio trying to get out. Everybody TPing from Fnatic. Looks like they will all make it away somehow. Exorcism used for nothing right now. There's no tier 1 tower. There is a tier 1 tower bottom, excuse me. But this Exorcism is going to be gone by the time they try to push anywhere. So this is just a waste of a cooldown, essentially, at this point, then.
If that's about as big of a blow as it gets for Alliance at this phase. Losing their T1 and then committing ultimate and losing Roche at the same time. I really like the Shadow Fiend's build to skip the Requiem level 1. Imagine if he had Requiem level 1 instead of Presence of the Dark Lord. That Roche would not have been taken down as fast as it did, and Alliance kind of expected maybe it would take a little bit longer, but with the Blightstone as well as the level 1 Presence of the Dark Lord, that certainly helped in that pinpoint timing.
Just enough armor reduction to get the job done quickly enough. And you saw it there, the Exorcism, it came out a moment too late. If they were there maybe half a second earlier, or if that Blightstone / whatever wasn't there, they'd be in trouble. Track up on Loda, they're going to chase him down. Open Wound Shuriken will stop him in the track. They have the TP from Ohio, the Sprout comes through, he'll eat his way through. They have the living armor on as well. And he's got Nature's Guide, so they can't chase him down. So mid one will just transition immediately into the tier 2 tower.
And that's 2 big ultimates down.
Yeah, I mean, still no Exorcism either. So this tier 2, even though it gets flipped up, it should still fall here. Fnatic should be able to find this. There's plenty of tracks coming out, so they have vision on EGM and Aki as well. And this is a tier 2 for Fnatic. It shouldn't be any issues whatsoever. The glyph's already gone.
And this sequence of events is also a side effect of the item choice of Loda's safe lane. Often he builds a defensive item first. We see the Vanguard very often on the Centaur and or the Slardar, but this game he opted for a Hood first, but it just delays your Blink so much. Now he will have his Blink Dagger, but imagine if he had a Blink Dagger instead of the Hood. They already have the defensive abilities with the Stampede and the Overgrowth and the Living Armor. I think double, triple downing even on the defensive abilities as opposed to a good way to actually start off a fight and purely relying on glimpse may have really hurt their chances in the early game.
Yeah, I mean, they needed to be able to find a way to initiate, maybe even in that Roche pit or just anywhere else in the map. They've not found any real fights.
Infest Bomb on the mid.
They're going to go run into EGM. He's tracked up, so the Nature's Guides won't help him. That's a great static throw. Mid one in trouble. The Death Ward will come out. He sticks up. He'll stay alive for the time being. Armlet toggle. It's not there. EGM low, but he'll be able to walk away even with the track on top of him. Bulldog and S4 nearby. They get the Crypt Storm off. Mid one goes for the Rage. They use the Exorcism. S4 gets tracked up. There's the open one's going to work. They'll have to pop up the Stampede coming in. Loda looks for the stop, and now Mushi pops up the ultimate. The Requiem. They'll bring down one still. It's a 1-for-1 trade. Mid one has been lost by Fnatic. Ohio's trying to go to work. There's a hasted up, I think, Death Prophet running around. No, S4 is going to get caught with a Sprout and brought down with the Nature's Wrath coming through as well. It's a 2-for-2 exchange. Remember, these are track kills for Fnatic, and Alliance have S4 down for 38 seconds. And again, Exorcism only used to get 2 kills in that engagement.
Still very strong team fight for them. Pretty much 3 lives taken down when you count Lifestealer's Aegis. Centaur showing off his fresh shiny new blink. Great static storm by Disruptor.
Yeah, I mean that fight doesn't exist without that static storm.
Their infest bombs are just really awkward though, right? It's just a bounty
hunter's running at you. I'm gonna get you. He has his Janata proc and that's it, and then they infest out.
But imagine if they have a Sentry Ward and they drop a Static Storm right on top of the Bounty Hunter as he's infested. They could just lose 2 heroes. I don't think you can pop Rage as you come out of the into the Static Storm.
No, probably
so they
not.
have to be very careful about that. I think it may be better to perhaps get a blink on the Shadow Fiend
I was thinking
before BKB.
Yeah,
I don't know. He really needs BKB though, or get a blink on Nature's Prophet so he can go in that way. Or Shadowblade. I like Shadowblade.
Are you okay with the Yule's pickup though? Is my question.
I think it's really good versus the Centaur. It's also just really good at.
It's good for the silence too if he gets caught in a static storm.
Yeah, it's good setup if they can burst down the Death Prophet. He needs BKB at some point.
Yeah, he will have to get that. Maybe his next item, we'll wait and see if he goes for maybe more SNY offensive and defensive oriented kind of item.
They do lock a lot of control in fights, and really only the paralyzing casks offering stuns.
Stampede coming out defensively. The Nature's Prophet will TP in. Ohio gets silenced up. Nicely done by S4 to drop that right on top of Ohio. But the Sprout comes out, blocks his path to the high ground. Deathward will come through the infest out. He'll Yules himself, and actually, with the Spirit Siphon doing a lot of damage to DJ, and he heals all the way back up from the Spirit Siphon. Mid-1 having to work for this kill with Ohio. They'll finally bring him down. Nobody from Alliance was in the vicinity to save S4. That's about as good as it can get in that situation to kill DJ. Spirit Siphon, pretty good ability.
Yeah, and imagine if he has his team backing him up with a Static Storm on top or Living Armor and the Exorcism heal on top of that. He's already very, very tanky.
Yeah.
I think the Yules build also kind of counters like a physical mitigation build. Let's imagine that Death Prophet gets a Ghost Scepter, then she's invulnerable to Lifestealer for a decent amount of time in the team fight, and then Shadow Fiend can just burst her down with a Blink Requiem. So I think it's nice to mix up your damage, and Shadow Fiend going with caster build. Yeah, you can get a lot of minus armor to synergize Admiral Bulldog in a lot of trouble.
Oh, that's a Requiem. Boom! See you later, Bulldog. Dead for 36 seconds. He just blows him up, and that's the tried and true combo that you used to see all the time when Shadow Fiend was picked so very often.
You mentioned not that much lockdown for versus Weaver.
There it is.
They don't have any stuns or silences, but when you have this much damage...
You don't need to stun or silence him when you just come, Yules him, and then Requiem him to death.
Yeah, he's going to have his BKB at a decent clipping too, and Alliance looking to maybe take on a 3v2 fight perhaps in the mid lane. Weaver cannot get there quickly.
No, he cannot. They're going to go in. The Blink Stomp's going to come out. Mushi's a little far forward. He does have his Dual Scepter. Might have to use it. He needs some help. He needs defense. He'll stay alive for the time being, but the Crypt Form will bring him down. The secondary Requiem does some nice damage to S4, but mid-1 is going to back up. But here comes the Glimpse. He's got Rage. He'll have to use it, so mid-1 gets out of any sort of trouble there, but S4 will continue to push forward. They will finally get this last tier, or second to last tier 1 tower here in the mid lane as the Glyph comes out.
That was a nice timing of a gank. Fnatic certainly felt comfortable with Weaver down.
Yules, Exorcism, DJ, he's been caught out of position. He's going to get Spirit Siphon down as well. They even have the Medallion up from Bulldog. They're going to kill him with a Shikuchi in the last one quick. They even get the Exorcism off 3-4-3. He's just getting blown up. They turn 3. Alliance coming out of nowhere. They get 1 tower. They might even get 2 here as Fnatic lose 1 after another with Mushi going down first, followed by DJ and 3-4-3.
Got to be careful about the chain feed, Fnatic.
That's, I mean, even the split push from Ohio is not going to do much, unfortunately. They just lose 2 towers, 3 heroes. That is a lot of gold going the way of Alliance. That's huge for them.
Yeah, Lifestealer's slightly falling behind in terms of net worth. He is actually number 5.
Yeah.
He had his armlet Lightstone at, what, maybe 9 minutes?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
He's since then picked up a Mithril Hammer, that's it.
Yeah, he will have his Dezo.
Oh, it's coming. I only thought he had the 1 Dezo. I was like, where's all this gold? But no, it's on the courier. It's flying out to him right now.
Centaur is getting out of control. He had a relatively slow Blink Dagger, but now he almost has... What is he going? Octarine, maybe? He's going with that Bit Booster.
I can't imagine anything else.
Maybe...
He might be getting casual Bit Booster into Aghanims?
Crimson Guard into Aghanims, maybe?
One of those
Bit
two?
Booster and Eggs.
Yeah.
I don't think you get Octarine here.
No, I don't think that's the play for...
Nope.
For the
maybe once you have the Ags, it's okay, but at this point, I think it's just casual. Although, we're all HP versus Lifestealer.
Look at the track off on the Bulldog. They're just going to come right back in. Mushi has a Lifestealer inside of him, so he's ready to go. He has that Blink Dagger, by the way. He is going to purchase up the Ogre Club, so he will get the BKB after he has the Blink Dagger.
Yep. You still have to be careful to get of getting like overgrowth while he casts his ultimate. It's not a free Requiem like it normally is. And they have a Treant inside Roche. They know that it immediately spawned. That's right around 8 minutes. And Fnatic will be blessed by the RNG.
Yeah, they have the Desolate now. They have Presence of the Dark Lord leveled up as well. So this should fall very quickly, especially with Ohio coming in here doing some damage to his right click. And there's no way Alliance get here in time. They're like all at the base ready to kind of smoke up and run there, but there's just absolutely no way they can get there in time. And there's no vision for them other than in the mid lane to show where Fnatic are. So they smoke up from Alliance, but Fnatic get the age. They pick it up on a mid one, and that's it. They'll farm down bottom as well. They'll stay together as a team. Both teams kind of staying together for the time being, playing as 5. And maybe Alliance finds something here. They get a couple of wards down, but that's it.
It's a cool build from Weaver. He went for, I think the medallion is fairly common, but going for the Solar Crest immediately. I think this way he can just buff up Death Prophet very early on in the fight, and then later, once his swarm starts ticking off on heroes, he can switch it to have an offensive Solar Crest. But he needs to make sure that the Death Prophet does not get bursted down. She is very high priority.
That is the biggest thing. So you'd have to imagine for a Death Prophet, BKB or whatever might be a priority. Just another defensive item for her to stay alive. I'm not sure what she's building next. She has the Vit booster, or excuse me,
Force
booster.
if she needs it this game, because they have.
I think going on the Ake bottom, but they actually decide not to go for it. They don't go any further than where that tier 2 tower was.
They have a route to stop a Requiem if she gets Yule's Requiem, and they also have a route to stop a Lifestealer bomb, and soon they'll have the Ags on the Centaur, so she doesn't really need BKB.
If she gets an Octarine, she's tanky enough as it is.
I think Octarine plus Chivas would be very good for her this game.
And you see the new build of Veil of Discord. Ohio's going to get caught with said Veil. He'll pop his BKB and try to TP out. He should be able to make it in time. No, the Overgrowth comes perfectly. The Sprout will come through the Spirit Siphon. Does the job, and the right clicks from S4. Gets a dominating spree. That's 519 gold going the way of S4. Gets him to 2,000 gold, which will finish up his Soul Booster. That is a big pickup.
And they have the recently acquired gem on EGM, making sure that Bounty Hunter doesn't pose any threats.
I feel like in every game I've seen of Alliance, with the exception of the first series, they've been behind and they just come back in an interesting fashion. A lot of that had to do with, I think, with the Broodmother in the first game, but the second game they definitely came back from a deficit from the Ember Spirit from VGR. I don't know, they're playing well in the second half of this game so far. And Fnatic are, like you said, the Lifestealer is falling behind. His farm has been kind of stagnant. He's got that Desolator and that's it, but Mushi will find Ake this time. Stampede will not save him, as it's the Yules into Requiem combo that gets the job done for him.
He's going to have problems getting kited in fights. So we have Centaur, Ags, that's, I don't think he can kill anyone during that. And then after his rage is down, he has to deal with a lot of spells from Death Prophet. Multiple Spirit Siphons, the Yule Scepter. He can't face tank the Exorcism because he doesn't have any, or he doesn't have that much armor right now. Just a little bit from the armlet. And then you talk about the roots. And then you have like the Weaver Shikuchi, and then he has to deal with the evasion from Solar Crest. So I think Fnatic are in a pretty decent position because their other two cores are getting a fair amount of farm. Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, Ohio's going to transition very effectively, I think. He's going to keep split pushing with the Maelstrom. I don't know what he's going to get as his next item. He already has BKB, Maelstrom, and a drum, but
I think Mjolnir would be pretty good for him. Dump it on the Lifestealer. It helps a lot when you're getting kited.
They cannot kill Bulldog. They do have Mushi coming in, though. He's probably going to have to use the timeout. He actually already used it in that last second or so. He's going to get Yulesed up, though, and they won't be able to chase any further. The rest of Alliance are ready to fight. They were about to back him up, though, with the exception of Loda, who's still bottom in that Centaur farming up and pushing into the tier 1 tower. But they do keep Bulldog alive, which is very important. Make sure he gets back up into a good position as that offlane Weaver. But they might lose this tower in the process, though. Here we go. Ohio pushing with mid 1. The Glyph will come out for the time being, but it looks like they might just give this away, for Alliance anyway. Maybe not. No.
And on top of all those tools that they may have had to deal with, there might be a potential Force Staff into Hurricane Pike on a Weaver. He already has a Dragon Lance, and we see a Force Staff on Disruptor. So they need more tools to lock heroes down. Sprout's not going to be enough. Yule's Burst Down only kills one hero, and it might be interrupted due to Overgrowth. Maybe an Ags coming out on Witch Doctor. That would be really nice.
Yeah, he's far away from
that, very poor. and Bounty Hunter has no damage. Sometimes you might want, you know, a Veil if you have a lot of magic damage, Dagon, even Solar Crest would be good for him.
After he gets Guardian Greaves, I wouldn't be surprised to see a Dagon coming out from him. I'm not sure if he wants to go Veil, either of which I think are fine.
Most of them get Blink.
You could also go Utility, yeah, that's the thing.
Blink or Force.
Blink is probably the most common item, I think, once you have these items ready to go.
I mean, they're kind of searching for kills, but they might just walk into a gem and get crushed. So 3-4-3, gotta be wary.
Very careful as they progress forward. They're trying to choke out Alliance right now, keep them hemmed inside the base, and they have the tools to do that, obviously, with a Nature's Prophet, so they're keeping them pretty close to home at this point. But Shadow Fiend has bought a Aghanim Scepter, or is about to buy an Aghanim Scepter. I just want to throw that out there. So that's awesome. I don't think I've seen an Ags in a pro game before. There's a first time for everything, Ben.
It's pretty good. It's surprisingly good. It doesn't sound that great. Like, oh,
because I'm so used to every Ag Scepter upgrade being like, oh, that's not that good. Some of the newer ones are really good, but remember, Walrus Kick was just not the best Ags upgrade for a long time. It's been buffed now. It's pretty good. So
yep,
I'm getting out of the habit of being like Aghanim Scepter on this hero was just terrible. But no.
Oh, Smoke out from Alliance. They scan DJ too. And Mushi.
Yeah, but they see mid one as well, so they should know that the entire team is here. 3-4-3 is going to walk in. There's going to be the opening with the lead sheet. Stomp is up as well. He's not going to be able to get the mech off, but it's time to back immediately for Fnatic. They do not want to fight into this. DJ will TP out first. S4 has the Eels, gets it off just in time. The silence will come through, not even needed. The cask is going to get bounced, but Loda will actually blink in the tree line, stop his path of retreat, and bring him down with a double edge. So Alliance turn 2, and they'll push into the Tier 1 tower that has been alive for too damn long for them.
They're smart about how they approach the fights. Going with Nature's Guide, they have a gem. Fnatic, very unlikely that they're going to see them because the Treant would see any Sentry Wards placed down. And unfortunately for Fnatic, Bounty Hunter was not the only sacrifice that fight. However, they are really quick to retaliate. Ohio and Mushi already beating on the T3 in the mid lane.
Oh man, they need to get back, and they need to get back quickly. Luckily, there's not that much damage done to the tower. They only hit it. Actually, we only hit the creeps, really. I don't think they did any damage themselves, but the Treants are doing some nice work. Mushi hits it once, then backs like, all right, that's enough. Let me get out of here.
It's at half HP. That's a lot.
Yeah, well, it wasn't a lot when they were backing, though. That was the thing. The Treants were doing some serious work. There is living armor, though. That is something you have to keep in mind. There's a Treant, so anytime that a tower is going to get taken down like that, if it's not taken down in full, it's a good chance it's going to be brought back to full health sometime in the near future.
So let's see how lucky Fnatic get with this next respawn. They're doing a decent job of dragging Alliance around the map and clearing up enough space for them to take out Roshan, but unfortunately they aren't able to make too many maneuvers without the Aegis, not feeling comfortable fighting into Alliance's team fight without 6, maybe 7 lives.
Have we seen a full 5-on-5 team fight yet?
No, and Fnatic should do their best to avoid that.
Yeah.
Unless they have an Aegis.
Especially with Octarine Core now up for the Death Prophet too.
Yeah,
not to mention Stampede. Yeah, this S4 Death Prophet, not shockingly, is very frightening as we hit 30 minutes into the game. Sure, Mushi's farm, sure he has an Aghanim Scepter, and yes, we have, for those of the layman's, for those of you that don't know what Aghanim Scepter is, Ben, could you promptly explain it for them?
So usually it just goes outwards and it slows and reduces everyone's damage, but now it returns inwards as it reaches the outmost of its trajectory, and you heal.
Yep. So
based
that's
on the damage dealt.
And
for all the damage dealt.
You said it was good.
Admiral Bulldog almost gets bombed.
And there's the Requiem. It shows off, but mid one is actually taking a Static Storm. S4 going to work. Spirit Siphon comes out, Cryptstorm brings him down, but Mushi has TP back in, they've killed Aki, they're looking for S4, Exorcism will go, Ohio pops the BKB, the Spirit Siphon, they should be able to bring S4 down, the track is up the Death Lord, they're blowing everything for this kill, and they will get it done. BKBs have to be used for Fnatic, but they bring him down, and he's dead for 65 seconds, and Exorcism again is wasted. That is exactly what they wanted, even if they lost the Lifestealer in the process, and EGM, he's been scouted out, the track will come through, he's going to use his Overgrowth and try to get away, he's going to get the mech off in time, but still should not be able to get out of this alive as the Maelstrom and Mjolnir procs come out from Ohio, do the job, they even dust up, and they will find themselves a gem on top of the kill on S4.
Nice move by Alliance. They wanted to make a move for the Roche. If they don't, then NP is going to eventually get to their T3s. They're forced to back, and then without any T1s or T2s on the bottom side of the map, Fnatic will just take down Roche easily with all their minus armor. So they felt forced to move outside of the base, get a pick, and then perhaps force a buyback into a large team fight into the Fnatic side of the map around the Roche pit. Unfortunately for them, Fnatic were really quick at responding to that kill. And they almost lost Weaver before that whole engagement.
Yeah, that's
happened.
what I was talking about. You didn't see it on stream, I don't think, but he Yules, I think, ultied him. The Requiem came out, and so you saw that new Requiem, but it didn't bring him down. So then Mushi TP'd back up to that top lane. That was like instant. He'd used the Requiem, realized he wasn't going to get the kill. Okay, TP top, we need to kill Death Prophet as quickly as possible. And they did. So good work from them. And Roche is back up now too, with no exorcism for a good while. Although it was an Octarine exorcism, so it's actually not that long of a cooldown anymore.
And this Roche respawn was around 8 minutes 45 seconds for Fnatic.
They're getting the quickest Roche respawns.
They're lucking out quite a bit.
Yeah, they're feeling it.
So Centaur has a heart. That is a lot of return damage.
DJ is shadowing S4 very heavily. He had an Invis rune. He was walking right next to him. And there it is. Aegis is going to be picked up. They will purchase another gem for Alliance EGM doing the job there. So he's going to spend a lot of money on those gems, but he does have the mech at the very least.
Lifestealer's going for Manta style. It's a cool build.
Against the Silence? Yeah, I saw this yesterday in one of the series.
Good versus Silence. It's also really good versus the Root in particular.
Yep.
Because you have to use Rage again, and you can't not do that. Because if you get Silence, you might just die.
Yep.
And then if you Manta off the Silence, you just get rooted.
So he has two defensive, well, one defensive ability, one defensive item coming out with the Manta style. Mushi has the Blink infest out, maybe a Yules into a Requiem if they want to set it up. And this is the prime time for them. With the Aegis in tow, they're looking for a potential pickoff. That pickoff into no buyback into a tier 3 tower, maybe even to a set of racks. If they can kill S4 and he doesn't have a buyback, that would be the most crucial kill for them. But Alliance have smoked up, and they will find Mushi. Blink Stomp comes out, they can infest out, the Veil's going to come through at this point, and here comes mid one. There's the surprise, Requiem won't go, they get the overgrowth off, double Yules at the same time. Ohio's TP'd in, Requiem is going to get canceled, he's not close enough in S4, now he's going to get blown up by it. Yes, see you later, down for 68. Mid one will go to work, they get off the static store before Aki goes down, but it's only a moment too late, and Loda, he will be able to get out. They're going to chase after Bulldog, they've got the track up, does he have time lapse? He's already used it. DJ, he's got cats, they're going to go for the raises, the Death Ward will come out, the Living Armor, he might stay alive for the time being. He diffused off the track, but it's not enough, and mid one still going to work. Loda, the last to be alive. The return damage will come through, but Loda will fall. They did bring down the Aegis of the Lifestealer, but it's 4 dead with no buybacks on Alliance, and EGM, the only survivor. Fnatic are about to take not only the set of racks, but game number 1, Ben.
Wow, I don't think they expected mid one to be inside of Mushi, and he had kind of 2 lives there, 3 lives even on the Shadow Fiend.
Yeah.
One with the BKB and another one with the Requiem heal with the Ags. And Alliance were pretty farmed at that point too. You see a lot of items on the Centaur that Hart recently picked up. Weaver just picked up his Diffusal Blade, so he's hitting pretty hard. But
they're feeling good about themselves, and then all of a sudden they just jump out. Mid one jumps out of Mushi.
They cannot keep the Death Prophet alive. That's the biggest problem.
And you would think that Loda being the tanky frontliner, but I mean, once he's kind of there, they kite him out of the fight. They isolate.
He doesn't do any damage if he's not focused. That's one of the problems with the Centaur carry. Slardar can hit really hard, and he can lock down people with bash and multiple stuns. Centaur, his hoof stomp is very underwhelming. Very long cooldown, 13 seconds there, and his right click is not very hard. Return does a lot of damage, but you have to focus him.
Yeah, they are not hitting him. They will glimpse back Mushi, but he pops the BKB, so he will not get caught by it. They'll walk away together as a team looking to TP out. They have got more than what they've needed so far in this game. All right, they lose DJ. I don't think they really give a damn at this point. Fnatic are far and away ahead in this game.
Especially when he does not have the gem on him.
Mid one, Rage TP, Stampede. Can they find anyone? 343. He has the gem, by the way. He might get out still, though. Oh, I think he's fine, actually.
EGM is looking to cut him off, though.
Oh my god, Mushi has a Refresher Orb. Okay.
I think he has the mana to actually use all his spells, too. Yep.
Yeah, he's good.
Only 200 mana for Requiem. Maybe not like a double Yules with a few raises in between.
Ohio, I don't know about that play. That was very dangerous. He went for the Bloodthorn on Bulldog. He got it diffused off, and now he's going to die. There's going to be the Requiem coming out. It doesn't really do that much damage. Returns in. Bulldog runs into it, and now he's going to time-lapse out and avoid all of that damage. He refreshes, so he has another Requiem. They should have seen it. They had a bug on him. So they know that there is a Refresher Orb on Mushi. A little bit of a lapse in judgment for Ohio, I think. Down for 60 seconds to just go for that Bloodthorn, and there was a lot of Alliance there.
Might not have seen that Diffusal because that last large-scale engagement was quite crazy.
That was awkward. Still, Fnatic are in prime real estate here. 2 full sets of racks down. Pretty much all of the huts that are in the mid and bottom lane gone. And then there's a tier 3 tower that they've also taken in the top lane. So there is, if Alliance lose 1 or 2 more heroes, there is a very good chance Fnatic just push in, get megas, and just end the game at that point.
Pretty much if they lose S4, it's over.
Yep.
And it's not like he can tank it and then buy back and come in with Exorcism, because his whole team will die before he can come back. So he has to use Exorcism early on in the fight. They have to use Living Armor to save him, Defensive Stampede, Overgrowth, 4 sets if they can, drop the Static Storm. But what can you really do to stop a BKB Zerg down?
That's the problem. The smoke will break. I'm not sure if they scouted out S4 with 343. In the vicinity is the life, so their mid one will be able to get out, though it seems like they do know something is up.
Yep,
and there's the scan from Fnatic too, so that also helps things.
343 had already circled that area on the minimap.
Yeah, they knew. They had an understanding.
They just need to fight together. If they fight together, they should win the team fight with their net worth advantage and their 4 racks advantage.
Yeah. Even if they don't win the team fight, as long as the creeps are pushing in, they're pretty happy. Which was why Alliance decided to smoke and run outside the base. You want to fight outside the base so that you lose the team fight, you win the team fight, you have room to work with.
And an unusual build coming up from Admiral Bulldog, the Skull Basher.
Oh, that is interesting. Ranged bash chance 10%, so you're not getting it for that. You're getting it for the Abyssal later, and maybe whatever stats he wants too.
It's decent damage and lockdown, but they have... I don't know how much uptime he's going to have in these team fights.
No.
He's very short range even with the Dragon Lance, so he can't really tank the Requiem. He doesn't have a BKB yet.
You saw him, he got hit by the initial Requiem, ran into the return Requiem.
Yeah, that's 3 or 4 seconds of the fight that he can't do any damage.
Yeah. He gets zoned out pretty effectively by that. Not to mention if he's Yules'd up or chased down by the Lifestealer or sprouted up as well, which of course you talked about being a big issue.
The Requiem reduces damage by a lot. 50% damage reduction, and Weaver does not have that much green damage. A lot of agility though, but he's going to be doing 85 damage. Maybe if he has a medallion on someone and some minus armor from the bugs, he can do some damage.
I mean, they're just looking for... Alliance need to find a pick, I think. They need to
They've been trying.
They've
been trying really hard.
That smoke really did not yield anything. They really wanted to pick there, and they just couldn't find anything, which is unfortunate. But and now they kind of just have to play back in the base because the creep wave's pushed in. There's a Nature's Prophet. He's got a Mjolnir, so he just constantly pushes out the waves like crazy.
But at this moment, Fnatic could smoke from any of the 3 lanes, and Alliance would almost certainly be caught off guard. And if they don't leave the base, then Fnatic can just take the Aegis and Cheese and push normally without a smoke.
DJ was getting caught by a silence, forces himself out to safety, and so everybody from Alliance is now up towards that top lane. They're like, okay, listen, we need to get this top wave pushed out, make sure that if something happens, we have at least that going for us. We might just wait for another Roche, I think, for Fnatic before we see them try to end the game here. And the problem is it really comes down to a big stomp like Static Storm Exorcism. They just don't, you don't have that big team fight like you see from a Darkseer maybe, or it's kind of similar, but it's not the same, I think.
Just not that much damage coming out from the Centaur, who is the most farmed hero on Alliance, and that's just kind of the nature of the hero. He has 3,600 HP, but how much HP is that when Lifestealer hits you once? 7.5%?
Yeah, I mean, he's got return now, though, with the Heart of Trask, which is not bad, but...
Lifestealer will out-regen that easily.
Okay.
And he's pretty much the only one that's going to be right-clicking him.
Oh, EGM walks into Vision from Ohio in mid-1. He is going to get stampeded out, and they use the Guardian Greaves so that they get off the track, or whatever vision they had. Bulldog finds a solo kill into Witch Doctor. The Overgrowth will come through. The Rage comes out as well. They're really looking for EGM, but he's in the tree line right now. He'll try to TP out. He is actually going to make it away. So they get a kill. They don't lose anybody in the process, but Fnatic still want to push top.
Wow, look at this Roshan respawn. It's another 8-minute, 30-second respawn.
Fnatic are like, yes, give us the RNG. We will take it.
I wonder if this illusion is going to scout it out before. Yeah, it is.
It is barely, I think, going to see it. Yeah. 5 seconds. Come on, illusion. Yeah, there it is. They will ping it up momentarily. They'll know that this is here. They will walk to the Roche pit. They will take it down very quickly. They have picked up an ultimate orb for the Nature's Prophet. So... what is that going to turn into? Is that a...
Scythe.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that a Hex?
Not terribly great versus the Centaur ultimate, but still decent. You can't... they can focus down Death Prophet, maybe even through the Centaur eggs, because he can't pop his Yules while he's getting open wounds focused.
Has S4 been scouted? He has now. Alliance really want to contest this. They cannot give away a Roche to Fnatic. That's clearly what they think at this point.
The last bastion of hope.
Yeah, this fight needs to go well for them. And again, it is Exorcism with Octarine Core. S4 is certainly farmed. Loda, he's got the hearts. Very tough to take him down. Mushi is going to find EGM, and actually EGM can delay Mushi's action into that fight. They're going to use the Stampede to start things off. The ult will come out. Exorcism's going to go as well. The Requiem, Ake, see you later. Now time-lapse back, and Admiral Bulldog avoids most of that damage. Yule's up coming out from S4 to make sure he stays alive. The Infest out looking for that damage. Ohio taking a lot from the Exorcism, but it's still healing him, and here comes Mushi, the right click. Can they keep S4 alive? The Spirit Siphon will do the job for the time being, but Mushi, a couple more right clicks, and finally they will get it done. No buyback for S4, and Bulldog will go down next. He does have buyback, but this is certainly going to be Roche. They buy back on the Lifestealer. They'll get him into the fray, and Fnatic will finish off this Roche and maybe even this game, Ben.
They actually haven't itemized that much armor on the side of Alliance. They do have the Solar Crest, but they don't have an AC. They don't have a mech, or they do actually have a mech, but they don't have a Vlad. So Centaur, he's sitting at 13 armor. He got mauled during that fight. Yeah. I was like, oh my goodness, he has a TP outlook within the first couple of seconds of the fight starting.
Which is never a good sign for you.
It's never a good sign for Death Prophet. S4 is like, oh,
I guess I'm dead now.
I know I'm dead.
Not fun for S4.
I'm surprised how not tanky they are, even with the axe. Well, he does have a Blade Mail now, hoping to perhaps do more damage in the process.
I think there's just too much sustain from Fnatic. You just can't blow up these heroes quickly enough. Jump in, stomp, rage avoids it, so Loda's just kind of chasing heroes around. I feel like I've seen this movie before earlier
it's like
today.
Ignore Loda.
That's what they did earlier when they were playing an AM. It was actually Liquid ignoring Loda, but it feels like the same thing at this point. Double edge onto Ohio. Actually pushes him out. From here's mid one. Jumps out with the Infest. He's got the open wounds. He's going to go to toe-to-toe with Loda, and Loda is just falling so quickly. The right click from Fnatic is too strong. Loda forced to buybacks, but they will lose the range racks in the process. They will lose Megas right now, Ben. They have the glyph. They'll keep the melee racks alive, so maybe I spoke too soon. They'll jump in, stomp. It's only going to be under one as Ohio pops the BKB. The tracks start coming through. Ohio is low, pops the cheese, though. The Requiem will come back out and in. And Ohio's still alive, but he gets up to Nature's Wrath before going down. Ake stays up and ready to go. They have to buy back on EGM, and Alliance hold, at least for the time being. I thought they were going to lose Megas there, but the melee racks does stay alive with about, I think, like maybe 100 some odd HP, something ridiculous. To 300. It's been regenning up, so. Oh, Bulldog has walked up a little too far. Big one blinks in, open wounds. Time-lapse is not there for 19. Shikuchi, he's got it in 2 seconds. The Yules will come out. He just wants to Requiem. Boom, see you later. No, he misses the time, and Bulldog actually gets out of there. I think it was the Living Armor helping out too, but Luda's just going to jump right into DJ. 4-step down to the low ground. Silent Step, Glimmer Cape coming through. Do they have detection? They do. They'll be able to bring him down, so DJ dead for 60 seconds. And so they missed the kill with the Requiem onto Bulldog, which should have been assured, but that's a little bit... That's just gold gone by the wayside for Fnatic, and it's not the worst thing considering of their positioning right now, but Alliance are really just anything they can get, and that's something at the very least.
Shadow Fiend's build does not allow him to scale that well past 50-55 minutes, and Alliance are not in Mega Creep territory yet. So there is still a small chance because Weaver is getting pretty fat.
A very small chance. They have good creep clear with Death Prophet, with double edge coming out from Loda. I mean, it's not the best.
With mass BKBs, maybe they could deal with the caster build, but there are 0 on Radiant side.
Which is surprising. Maybe not that
they've had to build armor items and HP items, and they need damage out from Weaver. I don't blame them for not getting BKBs, but it makes life really easy for Shadow Fiend. Even the Maledict on a very large HP hero like Centaur or Warrunner, normally the Lifestealer would have a lot of issues bringing him down once Feast damage isn't that high because it's based off current HP, but once it gets low enough from just a few hits, that Maledict will hit for multiple hundreds, maybe even 1,000 for the last tick.
That is not fun.
Maybe he needs an armlet at this point too on Centaur, so he can do more damage. I've seen Ice go a semi-trolly, like armlet heart build, but he was doing insane amounts of right click, and that would alleviate a lot of his armor issues. I think I would like that over to Hood build.
I'm not sold on Centaur right now, I think, in this game. You talked about Slaughter. I think it might have been banned out. I'm not sure. But
I think Centaur's fine if you can itemize for more damage.
Well, if you get a double stomp off like that with a double edge, then it's pretty good. That is a lot of damage with the Crypt Storm on top. They're going to lose both their supports just instantly, and so Fnatic have to back up for another minute or so without being able to do anything. Yeah, they're going to split push.
And they lose a gem.
Okay, Fnatic are not ending this game yet. There is still hope for Alliance. They are still in this, as long as the game continues. And by the way, he has another Reaver on Centaur. throwing that out there. Even more HP for Loda.
Maybe Satanic, I suppose. A little bit of armor. Doesn't hurt. Although he can just all in on the return damage, and no one except for Lifestealer can hit him.
That would be something else.
Yeah, Mushi cannot hit him. You need a HOD to hit a Centaur with this much strength. He's almost pushing 200 strength. So you return 150 damage a hit.
That sounds not fun for anybody hitting him. But he probably will get a... I think Mushi's going to get to that point where he's just super farmed. He's going to be saving a lot of money if this game goes any later.
But it's not a right-click build.
No, it is certainly not. It is a caster build, as you've talked about. Shivas, Ags, Yules. I mean, even Refresher. Yeah, this is... You're kind of all-inning on your Requiem. Your right-click is good for a Shadow Fiend because you obviously have, you know, Necromastery stacks, and there's that, but most of this gold is just put into caster items, as you said. Oh
yeah, I forgot about the Ags upgrade giving 10 more souls on Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, I forgot about that too, for a bit, but 46 souls is... So much extra damage is he getting out of that?
92.
That's pretty good.
And then you have -6 armor from Presence of the Dark Lord, -7 armor from Desolator, yeah. So he's still hitting pretty hard. They need an AC on mid one.
Especially against these squishier heroes. Yeah. AC would not be bad. What does mid one have? He's obviously not going to farm as quickly as the Nature's Prophet as well as the... Okay, so he has the Manta and Blink. So he's got his 4,000 gold, so he's kind of waiting, I think, with buyback and another item. It's going to be AC, right? I think, at this next... Yeah, he buys the Hyperstone, so yeah.
Yep, he needs AC. It'll help Shadow Fiend and NP's damage a lot.
Alright. We'll wait for another Roche, maybe? Perhaps? There's the Hurricane Pike, by the way, that you talked about, I think, for Weaver. Which is...
Yeah, Lifestealer's not the main damage dealer, so it's not as big of an issue as it was that other Lifestealer game that we saw earlier today.
The Solo Cornakes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They were... Solo Cornakes was a big topic for the panel, I believe. They were not happy about it.
They weren't able to make use of the Aegis at all, which is a little strange. I didn't really particularly fancy how Fnatic used that Aegis. You want your Lifestealer out in front farming the dangerous areas, and then your supports farming the really safe areas, and it was kind of vice versa, where Lifestealer was farming very safely into his own jungle, and then you have the two supports farming the more dangerous areas because they have nowhere else to farm.
Yeah, that I think put them even... they could have pressed up and maybe gotten advantage, maybe taken that melee Rex and gotten Megas, but they lost DJ and they lost 3-4-3 so damn quickly that they kind of just had to back up and play a little bit more defensively, and that's why they got caught, like you said. So, all right, what's the Roche timer looking like, Ben? What are we looking at here? We're going to figure it out pretty soon.
Yep.
It's going to be another 8.5-minute Roche respawn.
Maybe even less with the way Fnatic
looks. It's like an 8-minute respawn. I'm just like, all right, I'm done. That's enough of that.
Fnatic need another chicken so they can ferry out the
Mushi items.
The refresher. Technically, you can just BOT back and then refresh and then BOT back, but that's 6+ seconds.
You don't have to do that in a team fight.
Nope, you do not.
It's all about uptime.
Just want to swap.
It's all about efficiency.
Gotta get that fast.
TP in Ohio, he's going to find Loda. He actually blinks on top of Ohio. Stampede will come out. BKB goes again for Ohio. I feel like I've seen this move before. He's getting low, not dead yet. Requiem comes through. Back in. They will lose Ohio instantly, but a Death Ward chewing through Loda. The right clicks, they will bring him down. Dead for 105 seconds with no buyback. But Mushi's going to get brought low. The Spirit Type and Exorcism on top of the Static Storm. He's dead for 97 seconds. They've lost their two big cores. That is a mega kill spree going for Ake. They would have liked that to be on any other hero, but I'm sure they'll take it one way or the other. 3-4-3 now being chased down, but they won't go any further. DJ will sit in the tree line. That is a gigantic turnaround coming up for Lions. Even losing Loda, they don't care. But here comes mid one. He wants Ake. He's going to find it. They buy back on both heroes. They're going to bots in on top of mid one. Ohio's already into the fray. S4 was not expecting this. Gets silenced up. Sprouted as well. They don't have Stampede. Requiem gets forced through the tree line, though. Will they chase him down? They get the Yules up. Requiem back in. Bulldog has to time lapse it. S4 getting chewed up. Mid one going toe-to-toe. The Spirit Siphon continuing to keep S4 alive. And he's just trying as hard as he can to stay up and ready and fighting fit. A Yules will go into defensive this time. Stop, avoided. Mid one pops the match at the perfect time. 3-4-3 going toe-to-toe with EGM. Can't get the job done, but here comes Ohio. The right click. The Mjolnir procs coming through. S4 is still alive and just gone out of this fight, but Loda will have to die back. Dead for 108. S4 just desperately trying to cover the retreat of everyone else on Alliance. And mid one says, I don't think so. Ohio TP's in again, even further forward. The Mule and their procs are coming like crazy. They will take down 4. They will buy back on 2 with Bulldog as well as S4. Meanwhile, the base barely being defended as S4 comes back and TP's in after the buyback. What a fight, Fnatic. They say, screw it, we're going all in. We don't even care that you killed us. We're just going to TP in on top of you and kill you.
It was looking pretty dicey for Fnatic. They were flirting with fate at that point, but luckily for them, mid one was able to stay alive and no exorcism to deal damage, and they did a really good job of kiting the Weaver. He does not have that quelling blade anymore, so he sat inside a Sprout for full duration.
He's contemplating what he's gonna do next. He's like, what do I do with my life right now?
Go bootless, maybe.
I mean, that's not a bad idea. You don't really need boots that much on a Weaver. Maybe in this type of game, but mid one blinks in. He really wants the racks, but he has to rage with the Static Storm coming out, the Exorcism as well, the Shiva's Guard. Mid one might actually be in trouble. He's gonna have to turn and look to fight this with his open wounds, but he's actually gonna fall here. It should be him going down with Bulldog getting the last right click. He's dead for 102. He does have buyback, but that was kind of crazy. He just kind of went all in on that Rax, and he did not expect them to be ready for that.
Yeah, he almost got Static Storm before the rage. That would have just been one dead ghoul.
Well, now it's back to the drawing board for Fnatic, and they say, okay, I guess we just take Roche now. The boring play. That must have been another quick respawn for it to be up this quickly.
It was around 9 minutes 15, 9 minutes 30.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Like halfway through the entire respawn.
6 buybacks used in the last fights, and the only very farmed hero that has buyback left is just that Lifestealer.
Yep. So, I mean, it is not out of the realm of possibility for Alliance to take a fight, win said fight, kill all 5 heroes, well, maybe not all 5, but kill the heroes that don't have buyback, and then just have to deal with a Lifestealer as they maybe go for a death push.
They just need to stagger their defensive cooldowns. And on the flip side, Fnatic, I think, need to all-in on Centaur, I would say. Centaur might be a little bit easier for them to kill than the Death Prophet. I'm not terribly sure about that at this point.
God, Spirit Siphon, Octarine Core, Exorcism.
Yeah, he is.
You just heal through everything.
He is very, very tanky, and he has a lot more armor.
With the Shiva's Guard coming out, yeah.
36 on him, 21 on Centaur. So I think they focused on Centaur. He doesn't have buyback for another 3.5 minutes. No buyback on Death Prophet for 4.5 minutes. They just need to make sure they fight as 5. If they don't fight as 5 the next fight and they chain feed, especially without buybacks on Mushi or Ohio, they will lose this game.
They have been ahead for the majority, if not all of this game at this point. And it's not looking like they're going to throw, but there is that possibility, there is that chance with one team fight. And that's how crazy this Dota game can get. It's just one team fight after winning pretty much the majority of them for the most of this game. They just give the game away. So Fnatic have to be very patient with how they approach these next couple minutes. I would not be surprised if they just wait for their buybacks to be off cooldown, but
they didn't play that well with the last Aegis, nor did they commit heavily enough onto that Rex. If there's 200 HP left on a Rex, you probably could have went in a little bit harder.
I kind of like this bait. They're sending Ohio top. They're like expecting, I think, Death Prophet or Alliance in general to rotate over and stop this. And so Fnatic are going to smoke and look for an aggressive play in the meantime. But Alliance are not taking the bait. They're smart enough to know that something is up. But Lotus still might get caught anyways with the Eul Scepter. Requiem's going to come through, but not timed well enough, and it looks like Lotus is going to get out, but there's going to be the Guardian Greaves keeping him ultimately alive, but the chewing through from mid one is just more than enough damage. He will survive for the time being, but he's left S4 alone. He's going to have to back up and regen up in the heart. Ohio actually gets brought down, but that is just as Aegis. Mushi's low as well. He does not have buyback. He gets glimpsed back into the fray, still alive, but barely. The Death Lord coming out. S4 is in trouble, but Ake more so. Mid one will bring him down. The Death Lord coming out. He's dead for 120 seconds. No buyback on S4. Bulldog about to go down. Last right click. Ohio's Aegis is up, and he's back into the fray. Mid one going to work the open wounds. Look at how he chews through Loda, and Mushi wants his Requiem for God's sakes, and he'll get it, but it won't bring him down. Not yet. The Requiem return will do the job. Raises up mid one, gets the double kill. They get the racks. They get the game. Fnatic take a 1-0 advantage here in in our last series of the day between Alliance and Fnatic.
Very valiant effort by Alliance. They fought pretty well for being 30k in the hole. It did not feel like they were 30k down on Fnatic. More so maybe 5 to 7k.
There was a point in time there where we're like thinking, like, is this actually going to happen? Is Alliance going to find that one team fight? I know I was thinking about that because that last engagement where they had to buy back on Mushi and Ohio was a bit sketchy for them.
I think it was a masterful draft when they banned out the Lone Druid and then took the Nature's Prophet, and they gave Admiral Bulldog a not optimal hero. I think he would have